Morning, everyone. It's Joe Waxman, and I'm back with another video. This morning, I would like to look at the chart of Italian dictator, fascist dictator, Benito Mussolini. I don't know. He was an interesting character. I think he created fascism, or the idea of fascism, out of socialism. I mean, that was the offspring. He was a socialist, basically, and it's all just tweaking the same idea: top-down control, huge government that lords over the people, and has total disregard for freedom and humanity in general. People like to think, oh, it's very different from socialism, fascism. It's one is left wing, the other is right wing. That's all nonsense. Honestly, it's just a way to make it seem like Hitler was a right wing and Mussolini was right wing. They're both socialists. They're both top down. I mean, right wing is more about, anyway, it's not about politics, but right wing is about freedom and small government, and left wing is about top down control, government authority, and just, brutally, stomping on freedom and total control. So Mussolini was no different. Same thing. He was a socialist. I mean, that's a fact. And then he came up with something radically different. It wasn't radically different. It was the same thing. It was just, I think, fascism is defined as the state having control over the private sector, something like that. It controls private business or something. Big deal. It's just the tweaking of communism, essentially. So anyway, Benito Mussolini, 29th of July, 1883, 2 p.m., Pradapio, Italy. Let me get rid of these transits. They're not relevant. Okay, just ignore them. It's glitchy right now. Okay. Scorpio ascendant. Well, I usually start with the sun. Leo sun conjunct Mercury in the 9th house, but the 10th whole sign house. Okay, so this is 9th, 10th influence. The way I look at it, it's the gray area when you have the overlapping of quadrants and whole sign houses. Leo sun. So Leo sun, very powerful. It's in domicile. Leo rules the sun. It's very prominent in the sky. 10th house or 10th sign, 9th quadrant house. So it's still very, very visible, very high in the sky, very prominent. Easy rise to power and leadership position, especially in Leo, where the sun really has a lot of strength. I just realized the sun and Mercury are square to the nodes. That indicates some destiny relating to the sign and planet. So this is a rise to power, destined rise to power in Leo. Leo's the king, sun in Leo's the king. A Leo sun high in the sky is it's an easy rise to power for anyone. I mean, plus Mercury's ruling the 10th house cusp in Virgo, which is in the 11th whole sign house, which is saying that his career will take on qualities of the 11th house. So be involved in groups and communities. That's what he was. The group was, socialism and fascism, right? That's the community that he belonged to. That's the network. And it really, I mean, that sounds kind of funny, but that's literally what it means. It's like anything that you gather around. It could be. There's nothing having to do with has to be a good group. It could be an evil group. It's just groups and networks, and career success, and social gathering, and networking, and hopes, wishes, dreams, things like that. Income from career. Anyway. Also the 8th house, Mercury's ruling the 8th house cusp. 8th house, because power. 8th house is the house of power. It's not only, yes, it's death, rebirth, crisis, occult knowledge and awareness, but it's shared resources and power. Shared resources It's where the power comes from, because when you control the wealth of other people, it could be everyone's wealth, you know, it could be everyone's wealth in your country is shared with you. That's a lot of power. Scorpio, Pluto, 8th house is the house of power. A lot of dictators, a lot of leaders, a lot of CEOs, country leaders. Sorry, this is fine. They have Scorpio placements, heavy Scorpio, because that's power. That's sharing the control with others. And that's why Scorpio becomes so powerful. Yeah, it's difficult, it's painful, it brings pain and death and crises, but it gives so much power, right? So that's the positive side of Scorpio. And Scorpios are power hungry. 8th house, Pluto placements, they all want power and control. That's one of Scorpio's things. I mean, I have Scorpio placements, Scorpio ascendant, North Node, Uranus conjunct ascendant, 8th house, Sun and Venus, trine Pluto, you know, so, I mean, I've got it. So I understand all that. Anyway, very powerful Sun position here. Moon. Damn, this moon is like, it's afflicted. It's negatively afflicted. It's hemmed in by malefics. Look at that. It's ruling basically the 9th house cusp. It's this cusp is on the cusp, but I would say if anything, it's Cancer, right? So that's what that's drawing in his belief system, you know, his higher thinking, his beliefs, his philosophy. Oh, by the way, so this is 9th house, so I forgot to talk about that. His philosophy is ego. That's his philosophy. His philosophy is I am king, and what I think and what I do and what I say is right. That's Mussolini's philosophy. It's dictator philosophy, because this is the house of philosophy, religion, beliefs, higher knowledge, learning, you know, that, you know, at high education, travel, you know, things like that. But for him, with Leo here and the Sun and Mercury conjunct the Sun, it's all about I am king, worship me. That's what I believe. That's my religion. That's my philosophy. And it's really just destined here between the square to the nodes. Squares to the nodes show a certain destiny at some point in your life, a certain something that you agree to. It can be good or can be bad, really depending on you know how it plays out. And it could be multiple things, right? So this is showing some destined rise to power and leadership. So Moon, ruling the 9th house cusp, in the 7th house, hemmed in by malefics, Mars, Saturn, Chiron, Pluto. Chiron here really isn't helping because it's taking on the negativity of Saturn and Pluto, which it's hemmed in by. This moon is like destroyed. It's like really, really crushed. And this is the house of relationships and also the house of others. And by the way, Mercury is ruling, well, no, okay, disposited by, it's not ruling this house, it's disposited by Mercury. So a lot of these qualities are going into here. And what this is like, Moon represents the people, and it also represents his philosophy. So like, there's a domination going on here. It's too strong. Mars and Saturn together create violence. Saturn and Pluto and Mars also further create violence. Chiron's the painful, wounded healer, rejected. It shows rejection, wounds, healing. So like, this is not a healthy combination. Pluto is negatively influencing Chiron along with Saturn, showing that people, these are people that are in relationship to him, hurting people, right? Saturn, Mars is violence. We see that again. This is violence. This is domination of people. This cruelty. The moon is a feminine planet. It's a sensitive planet. It's his heart. It's emotions. It's getting crushed by these heavy, violent malefics. He was not a happy camper. He was a bad man. This is a bad man because he's hurting people. This is the house of others, generally speaking. This is so bad. So cruel, so harsh. so negative. And here, Neptune to top it off. He's totally lying to everyone. He's deceiving everyone, right? Deception. Remember I said, like, if it's in the 10th house or the 7th house, those are such public places where this is where you're seen, this is where you're heard. He's giving out speeches and he's hurting people, but he's also lying to them, totally deceiving them, right? So bad. The moon is crushed. The moon represents the people too. And here it's representing what he believes in. So he believes himself as the king above all else, and violence and domination and cruelty towards the people. Just basically like crush the people, crush them, ruthlessly crush them. And in Gemini, so it's like adding the intellect to it, you could probably speak well, you could probably convince people of anything, play mental games with them, lie endlessly because Neptune's here, and crush them, inevitably. This chart is amazingly simple and direct. It's just all about power and authority. His ascendant is Scorpio. I have my ascendant Scorpio. I mean, look at photos of Mussolini. He's so scary. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you think I'm scary, but I'm not as scary as Mussolini. Look at him. I guess we almost look alike, but he's scarier a lot. Can't see that very well. Look at him. Looks terrible. Such an evil guy. Guys, I'm not evil. In case you're thinking that, I'm not. I'm very warm-hearted towards humanity. I fight for humanity, freedom. Yeah, Scorpio can be very, Scorpio ascendants can really crave power, really want that control, really want that other people's shared resources. Give me, let's share it. Let's share it together. It'll be ours. Right. Yeah, Scorpio. So Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto, both in the 7th house. So he's just going towards the masses, other people, shared resources. Like, hey, let's do this together, guys. No, that's not what he means. Jupiter is conjunct Venus in Cancer. It's really good for Jupiter. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, but it's the 8th house. So what it's doing is protecting him, because these are both benefics, powerful benefics, Jupiter and Venus. In the 8th house, so it's protecting him from disaster, and it's also greatly gifting him with other people's resources, right? This is tremendous for inheritance, for gaining shared resources, for gaining the wealth of others. So you probably tax the hell out of people. I don't think this is enough to, Jupiter here, you might think like Jupiter in Cancer, oh, he was a wise man. Well, yeah, you might think that, and maybe there was a hidden side to him that, delusionally thought he was doing right by people. I don't know. I don't really know the details of Mussolini, but nonetheless, this is great for benefiting off other people's money and protecting himself from disaster. Inevitably, no, but look, Jupiter rules the 2nd house. Fantastic. Wealth through other people, wealth through shared resources. Tax them, right? Jupiter is ruling the 4th house. Homeland, right? This is homeland, people of the homeland, real estate, everything going to 8th house, shared resources. He's sharing the land with himself, right? How generous. He's sharing everyone else's land with himself. Guys, the 8th house can be a house of criminality because of shared resources. It's like, oh, what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine, right? Or, I have nothing, but everything you own is partly mine, so therefore we're sharing it, right? It's sort of like that, like going to the bank and saying, hey, we're going to share the income in the bank. Give me my share. So that's how he's sharing. Homeland, he's sharing the income. He's sharing the resources of his homeland, meaning he gets it. He gets control of it. That's what that means. Venus is controlling the 7th house and the 12th house. So 12th house and 8th, 12th house Lord and 8th is actually good. It shows from loss, some gain, something is gained. It's not easy, but it works out inevitably. Like he was a politician early on, a socialist, and he lost, and I don't know the details, but then he became a fascist. Like, oh, huge twist on fascism and, you know, communism. No, not really. Same thing, just dressed up slightly differently. So here he's sharing the resources of everyone else. How kind of him. South Node in Taurus, again, early life, very pampered, well taken care of. South Node in Taurus really gives a lot of like physical, material goods early on in life. 6th house means, you know, he was very skilled at defeating enemies, but also just daily mundane routine, you know, just working, daily grind, comfortable, padded. North Node, after he became, you know, 42, especially, North Node in Scorpio, where I have it as well, but his is in the 12th. So North Node in Scorpio means attaining power, and much less of an easy life, much more difficult when North Node is in Scorpio. You lose that Taurus comfort and padding, but you gain power. You gain power over others with North Node in Scorpio. And in 12th, it shows secrecy and foreign lands. So things were hidden with him. And a lot of politicians, ironically, and this is not a good thing, they have a lot of 12th house planets. And that, again, shows lying, deceit, dishonesty, you know, backroom deals that nobody knows about, like all sorts of shady stuff goes on in the 12th house with leaders and politicians. Not a good sign at all. Right? Not what we want to see. You know, artists and creative types, we want to see those 12th house, Neptune, strong Neptunian placements, but not for politicians. And unfortunately, sometimes you get like these charts that belong to like, would be great for like spiritual or artist types, and they become politicians and world leaders. That's not what you want to see. Like Joe Biden, right? Criminal, right? Uranus in the 10th house shows a very shocking career, very shocking public image, public relations, and that's what he was. I mean, as far as I know, he pretty much founded fascism. Like there was nothing before that, you know. So he was the original fascist dictator, right? And that's what Uranus does. It's new and it's innovative and it's shocking and it's inventive. So he invented his dictator, his fascist dictator kind of thing. I mean, it's really like just shades of difference from socialism, Marxism, communism. So not really. It's just top-down control. You know, they all kill their citizens and, you know, put the boots on the neck. It doesn't really matter whether it's fascist or socialist or communist or whatever you call it. It's still the same brute force dictatorship. There's no difference. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, it's zero difference. So like anyone's like, oh, he was a right winger, just, you know, tell them to shut up, go read a book, you know, do some history, get their nose out of, you know, HuffPost, whatever they're reading, garbage propaganda, complete garbage nonsense. Guys, that's pretty much it. Neptune has sextile to Jupiter and Uranus has a trine to Neptune and Jupiter and Venus. So this is just saying like, okay, he's dishonest in his Uranus is becoming dishonest because of the trine to Neptune. which is, Uranus, generally speaking, is very honest. It's very, it likes to be honest. It likes to tell the truth and be aware. And here it's gaining the deceptive power of Neptune. So is Jupiter. This is very expansive, indulgent, just over the top, because Jupiter and Venus is just like sugar, candy. And then with Neptune, it's like candy, sugar, like just teeth rotting sugar, candy indulgence, like taking everyone's money, just robbing them blind, silly, um, and being very, being very innovative, shocking, kind of Uranian about it. Man, what a character! Amazing. This North Node square the Sun, Venus. I see that again and again with destined events that happen. So he was destined to rise to power. All right, I think that's pretty much it. He was a cruel bastard, highly egotistical, wanted to share everyone's wealth with himself, not with each other, with himself. That's basically scary, power-hungry, egotistical Mussolini. And in the end, he died. They killed him because he did not do well as a leader. Just far too egotistical and cruel and terrible. Terrible man. All right. That's it for today. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and if you want to read it, go to my website, macroastrology.com. All right. That's it. Thanks.